Hello everybody, this is Bradley from Race Beacon, and today we're going to be taking a look at what's new on all of the cars this weekend in Barcelona. So with the sun setting towards my right, let's get right into it. So first up we have got Williams. Despite Alex Albon's best efforts, Williams are still sitting bottom of the standings heading to Barcelona. But ahead of this weekend, we aren't actually sure what upgrades they will be bringing, or how big a package it will be. We do know that Nick de Vries is taking over Albon's seat in FP1, which would be odd if they were testing new parts. Then again, Vips is sitting in at Red Bull despite them bringing some new upgrades, so ultimately that might mean nothing. This could be a pretty tough weekend for Williams. There's definitely pace in the car, but with all of the teams around them looking to make some pretty big improvements, I think if they haven't got a lot new on that car, they can definitely struggle. And now we've got what is for me the most interesting one with Aston Martin. Now obviously if you take a look here, this is their car in Barcelona. This was the original car they launched with. They had the gills on the side of the car. And you know, it had fairly similar side pods to Mercedes. It feels like that's exactly what Mercedes would have gone with had they had side pods. But now with this new upgrade, it is completely different, and now it is looking a lot more like a green Red Bull. It's not absolutely identical, don't get me wrong here. I think a lot of people are over-exaggerating quite a lot on the internet over this, but that car is heavily inspired by the Red Bull. And of course, we've got Fallows there now, who... Where did he come from again? Oh yeah, Red Bull. So you can see where the inspirations come from, and for me, Aston Martin are looking to make the biggest jump on the grid by far. And, I mean, judging by that, they should make the biggest jump on the grid so far. I mean, it is different in almost every aspect. You've got a completely new floor, completely new side pods, and completely new wings as well, which is where, obviously, that's the major aerodynamic components, and that's where a lot of the time is coming from this year. So for Aston Martin, they're definitely looking at, I'd say, hopefully for them, a good half a second improvement. Will this be enough to see Lance and Seb consistently in the points? Well, that's one to wait and see. Now, for Haas, this is the biggest struggle on the grid. They have not had the pace that they started off this season with. It has slowly dripped away race by race. The results are not quite there, and Magnussen effectively carrying that team at the moment, putting in some brilliant performances to pick up points. But unfortunately, Haas drivers will face a 7-race wait for teams quite big upgrade package. Now, that's not as scary as it sounds. We are talking the French Grand Prix here. There's an element of clickbait going on there. But no, this is not great at all for Haas. I think they're the team this weekend who could see the biggest drop in performance, which would be a real shame because I've quite liked having them back up near the top. I say the top, midfield. But it seems at the moment there is no competing with Red Bull and Ferrari anyway. We'll see if that can change a little bit later on in this video though. But yeah, as I said, for me, Haas probably the biggest losers from this weekend. They don't have an upgrade package. They'd hoped it would be ready. It's not. They are going to have to wait another 2 races until we get to France for that upgrade package. That's going to hurt. For me, judging by what we've heard and the upgrades from the teams around them, I do think they're going to struggle to be in the points. Obviously, that car is definitely capable of it, and I think with Magnussen, if he gets a great result, that's going to be a P9, P10 for him. It does seem like they're going to struggle. But they do have the advantage of knowing their car. They know exactly how the car's going to handle. They know what setup to give it. They have a much better understanding than the teams who are coming in with massive upgrade packages. So they could be quick early on in the weekend, but expect their pace to maybe fall away as some of their rivals understand their new upgrades better. As for AlphaTauri, we quite genuinely have absolutely no idea what they're bringing to the car. There's no news of an upgrade on it. I think AlphaTauri, again, probably a team that's going to struggle, but they haven't confirmed that they won't have upgrades. We are just yet to see them, or they're yet to be reported. You never know. Sometimes some of the journalists in the pit lane might overlook the Red Bull sister team. But for AlphaTauri, I think the pace is definitely in the car. But the drivers, you can argue, maybe haven't been getting the absolute potential from it. We'd hoped pre-season it'd be a little bit quicker than it's ended up being. I remember in the pre-season testing streams, people expecting that car to be in the top 5. It's not happened this year, and I don't think it's going to happen in Barcelona either, by the sounds of it. As for Alpine, we know that they are bringing a new rear wing and weight reduction upgrades. Now, this year, Weight reduction upgrades, that's not normally something you hear too much about, because at the start of the year the teams are normally right on that minimum weight requirement. That's not happened this year. With the new safety upgrades coming into place, it's made it so hard to get these cars down to the right weight. It was only Alfa Romeo who were able to start the season at the minimum weight limit where they remain, and as far as we're aware, no other teams have actually joined them there yet. But for Alpine, it's a big thing. They've got new rear wings, so keep an eye out for that. Likely to be higher downforce, as we have got, obviously, Monaco coming up as well. Barcelona, not particularly low downforce circuit either. So they'll be looking for probably a couple of attempts. I don't think they'll make much of an inroad into the running order, but I think it's better to look at their difference in pace between, let's say, the Williams and the Haases, who we know aren't bringing many upgrades to the car. As for Alfa Romeo, we know that only Valtteri Bottas will be getting the upgrades. It's a fairly sizable upgrade package, but only Valtteri Bottas will be getting it. Guan Yu Zhou will just have to go with what he's got. We do know that there will be a new floor and side pods, with some upgrades aiming to improve the performance at high speed. So obviously, key takeaway there, new floor, new side pods. A lot of teams going with that. And ultimately, that's because they're the most important part of the car this year. That is where you are getting so much of the downforce from. With these ground effect cars, the floor, all of a sudden, it has become that much more important. And evidently, the side pods as well, if you're trying to fix porpoising, can have a little bit of an impact. You've got to work around that. So, Alfa Romeo, fairly sizable upgrade package. What do you think they're going to be able to do? I don't know if, let's say, Mercedes' upgrade package doesn't work. They could, well, at least Valtteri Bottas could be right up there. Next up, we have McLaren. They're bringing one of the biggest upgrade packages on the grid. It is a car that has not seen any significant upgrades this season so far in 2022. This is their first jab at improving on what they had at the start of the season. Obviously, the brakes needed a lot of work between Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, but since then that car has found some pace, and they are looking to just add a couple of extra attempts to that in Barcelona. But with McLaren, we've actually got almost no information. The details are pretty scarce at the moment, but that's more because of how many components they are changing, and potentially the fact that they don't really want us to see it yet. Lawrence Barretto suggests it could bring up to 0.5 of improvement, which, let's say Red Bull and Ferrari's upgrades don't have the desired impact, would put them well within, let's say, about 0.8 of a second, 0.7 of a second. That would be absolutely massive. One thing that we have seen confirmed is there are new carbon fibre brake covers instead of the old titanium parts, which were adding to some of the issues at the start of the season. Next up, we've got Mercedes, and so far this season, Mercedes have seemingly got slower and slower race after race, and you may be right to think that, because as Formula Dino has had a look at, Mercedes gap to leaders in race pace this season, 0.7, 0.9, 0.96, 1.0 and 1.2 seconds off the pace in Miami. Fact is, they have got slower. Red Bull and Ferrari have been able to fix the very limited porpoising issues from them at the start of the season and get the weight of their car down. Mercedes had tried to bring a new upgrade package to Miami, but it did not feature a new floor. We actually saw some really aggressive porpoising still from Mercedes in Miami. So this new floor here in Barcelona, that is what is going to be the massive talking point. Will this new floor help fix their porpoising issues? If not, that could be it for Mercedes this season, and they will start to focus on 2023 with probably a fundamentally different design philosophy. So is it make or break for Mercedes this weekend? Well, if they're looking for race wins this year, or even regular podiums, yes, it absolutely is. And if these upgrades don't work, they could easily see themselves fall behind McLaren and, at very least, Valtteri Bottas. Now, this is where it starts to get a bit more interesting. We're on to Ferrari and Red Bull. Now, we will discuss Red Bull in a moment and some Ferrari-based controversy coming from that, but let's first get a look at the actual upgrades on the car. So, according to Motorsport Italy, Ferrari will bring a new high downforce rear wing, which is something that, as I said before, we can expect. We've got some higher downforce tracks coming up. They've also got a new floor to reduce porpoising, which obviously we have seen on the straights is an issue for them, but obviously it's been a lot more under control as they get onto the brakes than we've seen on the likes of the Mercedes, and it's cornered one hell of a lot better. They've also got some slight adjustments to the side pods. The shape will remain mostly the same, but it will overall just be packaged a bit tighter. This is mostly in order to reduce drag. They also have a new brake duct design as well on the car. That, as we've seen with McLaren, if done right, can bring some pretty big improvements, especially, let's say, in a race when overheating might start to become a problem, and in a race we have seen Ferrari struggle more compared to Red Bull than in qualifying, so you never know, this could be a small thing that's been losing them a tenth or two as the races have gone on. It's also rumoured that in this is a big upgrade package, it's also rumoured that they are expected to reduce the weight of the car by around 2 kilograms as well, which again, this season, oh so vital. All of the teams are trying to beat each other to get to that minimum weight without losing performance. And if Ferrari have done that, let's just say this package is slightly bigger than the Red Bull upgrade package, and they've only got about 2/10 to close. That's what the expected gap is at the moment, only 2/10. If they can close those 2/10 down, they could be the quickest car again like they were at the start of the season. For what it's worth as well, according to Gazzetta, this upgrade package could be worth around 3 to 4/10, so make of that what you will. And as for Red Bull... Oh, sorry, that's the wrong car. Sorry, they look too similar. Red Bull have already delivered a variety of upgrades to their car in the early part of this season. That's how they've been able to overcome the gap to Ferrari. The team championship leaders only appear to be bringing some general weight reduction upgrades, which, again, is incredibly important this season. I cannot stress enough how much each kilo counts. They'll also most likely bring a new higher downforce rear wing. I think we have seen a couple of photos maybe suggesting that is what's going to happen. But overall, the car's going to remain mostly unchanged. I'd say big things to watch out for is obviously the weight reduction. That's going to be really hard to see. But the rear wing, I think that's the most visible change on the car. So some of the controversy that has come out though is Ferrari have apparently made a big dossier including all of the teams and how much they have spent so far. And they're saying that Red Bull cannot afford to keep up at the rate of upgrades they're doing at the moment, especially with the budget cap now decreasing by about, I think it was 1.2 million euros or so, as we have lost the Russian Grand Prix and it won't be replaced by any other race. So we are down to just 22 races for the season, meaning the budget cap has dropped down. Now, for the likes of Red Bull, who we know they're going to be right on the edge of the budget cap, as will Ferrari, as will Mercedes, probably McLaren, probably Aston Martin as well. A lot of teams, though, probably won't quite hit it. But for those teams who are going to hit it dropping ever so slightly, it could actually scupper some of their plans this season for upgrades, but obviously for the most part, the costs that it's decreasing would have been covered by the race happening, so they're not losing out or gaining too much. The big story this weekend, though, will of course be who gets that advantage. Red Bull, no massive major upgrade package. Ferrari, huge upgrade package. If it works, will we see them overtake Red Bull and become the quickest team on the grid again and see that lead change for the second time this year? We started out with Ferrari for about the first 3 races of the season probably being just a quicker car, but the last 2 or 3 races as well, it has swung in Red Bull's favour, especially in the race. So if Ferrari have solved those issues that they're facing, making that car slightly more efficient in the race, they could be right back up there. And it will make the championship battle a little bit more intense, especially if Red Bull go back to being the second quickest car. You're going to have a slightly more desperate Max again. So let me know what you think. Whose upgrades do you think are going to work best? Who are you most excited to see the upgrade package for in action? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're here, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out oh so much. And I'm going to try to do a couple more videos on the channel in this sort of format, slightly less heavily edited, but means I can get out a lot more content, especially with the amount of streams we're doing, which, if you like this layout, come join us Friday, Saturday and Sunday for every minute of action on track and I guess off track as well. We have coverage almost all day, 4.5 hours each day, covering the gaps before, between and after sessions. I explained that very smoothly. But it'd be great to see you there. We're over on Twitch. The link is the top link in the description. It'd be absolutely great to see you there. But as I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.